can get frustrated. You can't take it out on a child all the time.
It's not about you.
You can't.
It's not about your convenience. It's about what's happening for this child. This is not working. What can we do? How can we support you? How can we work together to make sure this child, your child, our child, is taken care of? You know, that's the tone.
So, but hold on, can I tell you something? All right. He wasn't even finished with his sentence, and you already jumped in there with but. So that means that you're not listening. He wasn't even finished yet.
Where you see schools working is where you have faculty and where you have administrators that take on that role of not just educating you, but being your guidance, being your soundboard.
Ellie, why you trying to roll up on me, man? What? Rolling up on me.
You know, being everything that a child needs for the 8 hours that that child is in that school. That's how community looks in schools. That's how community looks in the educational process.
So I started September 1991, but not in New York City. I started as a kindergarten and first grade teacher in Ithaca, New York.
Okay. And how long were you upstate?
For 2 years, 2.5 years, before coming back down to District 16, Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn.
Okay, where did you teach it in District 16?
PS 25.
Oh, you taught it?
Yeah.
PS 25. Okay, so teacher, then at some point you moved.
Then 6 years later, I became an assistant principal for about 11, 12 years. And first in the Bronx, that's where I really got my feet wet. And then I moved back to Bed-Stuy, PS 309. I left there voluntarily and went to teach at District 17, Walt Whitman, before becoming principal again 3 years later. Before becoming assistant principal again. And then I went into the Leadership Academy and New Schools Intensive in 2012.
And that's how you landed
And then I opened up my own school.
So you have, speak for a moment about some of the differences, some of the contrasts that you experienced working upstate in Ithaca versus coming home and working in District 16, which as we both know is one of the more challenging districts in the city. Speak to this.
My challenges there were around race. So whether it was, a white parent who wanted to argue about giving their kids homework, like how dare you, versus black parents who wanted their children to have homework. So understand that Ithaca, New York was predominantly white. I was the only black teacher at the school. So I had every black child, and that was a parent request. And that's, we all saw that as like natural, like authentic, because I was the only one.
A little bit longer.
Right.
And with the
You have
blue
curly
glasses.
hair. Yes, I know who that is. So do me a favor, go to Mr. Campbell and tell Mr. Campbell that Mr. Gwynn needs some help. Okay? And then I'll come down in a few minutes.
But where is Mr. Campbell?
Go find Campbell or Kemp in the cafeteria. Thank you. Look at you on the other side. That's right.
I wanted to be in a space where the students actually needed me, and not from an educational standpoint, but from a social standpoint, they actually needed someone like me to be a beacon in their lives, right? Now that's a very major perspective on how to educate, right? It's like, it's awesome. Why are you like that? What made you like that?
I was one of those kids that acted out in class. I was one of those kids who played hooky from school. I was one of those kids who everybody said, oh, she's so smart, but I think I knew that kids like that needed me here. And I didn't have that up there. Like, there was no struggle. I wasn't needed the way that I knew I needed to be needed in Bed-Stuy. So I
You get on your nerves, right?
I get on my nerves. They try to tell me the truth.
are we consistent?
Yeah.
So what does that look like? Do we consistently get on your nerves, or are we consistent when it comes to dealing with you?
Consistent. Like you showed me that I just need to change. But
That's good. That's good.
So how you felt when your mom hung up on you?
I was mad.
And she didn't tell me her mother hung up on her. We had this young lady for 3 years. She called her mother. No, you heard it was click. So then I called the mother, and the mother said, Mr. Farley, if you didn't call me, I don't want to hear from her. So when you get down to Mr. Farley, give me a call later. And I said, wow, because year one, it was a constant battle with parents. You know, like, oh, well, why is my child in trouble? It's a small thing. I said, no. I said, we deal with small things so that they don't become bigger. To year 6, and you have parents saying, I trust you. So whatever you tell me, I don't care what my child said, whatever you tell me, I know you're going to deal with my child appropriately. Like, I know you love my child. And that was the best feeling ever, because we didn't start like that. You know, so like we do, there's nothing our parents could ever ask us for that's not here. So if you can't get here, we have Metro cards. If you're unable to buy a uniform, we have uniforms for your kids. If you don't have supplies, we have supplies. If you don't have the book bag, we have a book bag. We have everything in place, all of our students' needs, which in turn, you're dealing with your parents' needs. For our kids to be educated appropriately, and for our parents to even feel like a part of the process. It's a very humbling experience for a parent to have to tell you what they need for their child. And a lot of times, a lot of their anger comes from, it's like kids, it comes from whatever needs are not being met. And that's our job, to meet our parents' needs. Are we perfect? No. But our parents help us do this work.
A lot of times, kids get their cues from the parents, you know? And so coming here, we've had to really work hard at building trust in the community before parents got on board to really understand, wow, there's a real care and concern here, you know? So, you know, it's been really critical that if we have parents understand that we're partners in this, then kids understand, whoa, we're just extensions of your community, of your household, and at the end of the day, this is a team that's built for your support and your success, you know? This is not adversarial here. This is the child, teacher, parents, staff coming together to work collectively on your behalf. And it's beautiful when kids start realizing that they support, they love, but you're gonna be challenged. Right. But it's coming from a space of support and love.
Right. So then my thing is, how does it look when a child buys into that? So once a child realizes that his or her educators are simply an extended arm of his or her community system, ecosystem, right? Like, so parents, community, neighbors, educators. How does that look?
Right. It doesn't look exceptional. It looks like it's supposed to look.
Right.
It looks like kids buying into the process and doing what they're supposed to do. But what it looks like when it's not there is very combative. Who are you? Why are you telling me this? You're not my mother. You're not my father. You know? And so this has become a scene that's been all too familiar in inner city schools, you know? And so when you have a partnership, then those elements of distrust, all right, are rooted out. And now we're dealing with the circumstances where everybody sees a common goal and is working together towards getting there. Cool.
So that building, the building that houses Van Siclen Community Middle School, used to be known as George Gershwin Junior High School. Gersh has the reputation in Brooklyn of being one of the worst junior high schools in the city. So when I first came to Van Siclen, the first thing I realized was that they were doing something different. What they do that is inspiring, and the reason why I wanted to come out and talk with them, is that they are wholly invested in the process of education, and they understand that part of that process is also the socialization of our children. Knowing how to manage a lot of the feelings and issues that our children face in the real world. You're in an underserved community, East New York, right? Pink houses, boulevard projects,
Linden, Plaza,
right?
Cypress.
So you have children, your student body deal with a lot more than just apples and oranges and mathematics and reading, right? What are some of the obstacles that you have to overcome here?
Well, I tell you, so generally in schools, the general consensus is that during the school year, things kind of heat up in the springtime, around May and June. Things can start getting a little hectic. So what happens here is kind of in reverse. You know, you come off the summertime where things are hot and heavy, and we have a rough September and October where we have to kind of, you know, settle things down, so to speak. And so a lot of conversations happen about what's going on, problems that kids are bringing in that, you know, they're struggling with, trying to resolve. And, you know, through the course of the school year, kids buy in. They want to be in a place where they can be safe. You know, the bottom line is kids want to be safe. They want to be kids. They want to have fun. They want to learn, you know. And, you know, fortunately we have a student body who understands the importance of being in a safe environment and who wants to be in a safe environment.
About how do you get the teachers that work for you and with you in alignment with what you require with regards to standards?
Well, it starts from recruitment. You know, we let people know off the back, this is not for everybody. This might be the hardest job in the country. This is not for everybody. You're teaching middle school, East New York, and the standards is high. We're not making excuses here. So, you know, the bar is high, and this is not for everybody. Another school might be a good fit for you. If you're not up to challenging yourself to making an impact and to seeing that these kids thrive and are prepared for the future, this is not the place for you to work. So from the door, teachers understand that, you know, they not only want to teach, but they want to have an impact on this community.
Like, these kids need us so much. You cannot fake anything here. And you can't just teach it. You can't. Like, you have to be a mentor. You have to be a friend. You have to be a parent advocate, a student advocate. You can't just come here and teach. And this is not for everybody.
In this community. And so that's important for them to be able to state explicitly from the jump.
Right.
And then, you know, from there, we have a tremendous staff. We have an innovative, young, talented, very proactive staff, you know, who, you know, understand that there's a combination of firm, being able to challenge students, but also to be able to nurture students, be able to show I care. That's extremely important for our students. Because listen, if you don't care about me, they don't want to hear nothing.
You can't fake that.
They don't want to hear you.
Right.
They can smell it on you.
Right.
Oh, right. When I came out here in District 19, started working with Principal McFarland, you know, we saw there was opportunities for young people to engage in science, technology, engineering, and math. And so I organized the STEM Olympics, District STEM Olympics, you know, gathering schools all together to compete. You know, we host the Lego Robotics regional competition. You know, and people saw that, and you know, we're about to build out a makerspace. The councilwoman, Nez Barry, funded us $225,000 to build out our makerspace. So I just want to take advantage of opportunities. You know, the borough president spoke about doing a garden. He saw we had a garden started and wanted to participate. He's big on health. And so I want to take advantage of opportunities as president and show these young people that there's a ton of stuff we could be doing, you know? And so, you know, what specifically I get up to accomplish, I'm not sure. But I want to show young people there's all type of things going on. Some of them still have a mindset that they want to get out of the hood. So globally, they don't have the perspective. People are rushing, trying to get to Brooklyn.
Right.
It's like, you're just trying to get out. There's people who are dying for your seat. There's kids who are in countries who would give an arm to be where you're at. So, you know, it's not their fault. They just need perspective on what's going on. And so, you know, it's our responsibility to provide them and seek out opportunities to make that happen.
It's important because the kids know if you don't have that consideration for a child, they can sense that and they pull away from that. So to be an educator in a school system, it's about knowing the community that you're teaching in, understanding the dynamics of that community, having a level of respect for that community. All these things are what make great educators. And that's happening at Van Siclen Community Middle School.